Hello language learners. How many YouTube videos, how many blog posts, how many articles have you seen or heard or watched or been around talking about the greatest, best language learning app? And everybody has different opinions, everybody uses different things, everybody recommends different apps. Sometimes it's an expensive one, sometimes it's a cheap one, a free one. Everybody has different opinions, and that's really, really confusing and really overwhelming for anybody who's not knowing what they're doing, who doesn't know what they're doing, which is pretty much everybody who's watching that stuff. In this video, I'm going to talk about why that's so overwhelming, why that steers us in the wrong directions, why that doesn't help us. I'm going to talk about why all these different pieces of content online that talk about the best language app for any language learner, why that is harmful and what you should be thinking about when you look at language apps, and just how to take it with a grain of salt and understand language apps and understand what you should be looking for. I'm going to talk about 6 different things that we need to be looking at when it comes to language apps. I'm going to go dive in deep, and I'm going to talk about a couple different options for each of these different features. If you want any more information about any of the apps that I specifically reference, link below in the description. I've got reviews on all of them. I have personally tried out every single one of these apps, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. The first thing that we need to be paying attention to, and is arguably the most important, is skill level. And by skill level, I mean where you are, your current skill level when you're approaching this app, and where you want to go. Because if you're an intermediate or advanced language learner, but then you're watching a video that says Duolingo is amazing because it's free and all these different things, and it's really fun, that's not going to help you, because Duolingo is not for intermediate or advanced learners. It's for beginner learners. That's the first app that's, it's really important to be aware of skill level. If you're past a certain skill level, then Duolingo is not going to be helpful for you. Same thing with the other end of the spectrum, Closemaster. I have a conversation in my walkthrough of Closemaster talking about this very thing. Closemaster is for intermediate or advanced learners. You need to have a significant idea of the language before you use Closemaster, or else you're just going to be lost. It's not going to be helpful for you. Now, obviously, not only will apps generally not tell you what skill level you need to be at, but it's not really that black and white either. Some apps, they cater best to beginners, or beginners and intermediate learners, or beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Sometimes they're better for intermediate, advanced. It's really, a toss-up, which is why this is something that I reference specifically in my reviews of different language apps, that you need to be of a certain level, or don't try this app if you want to use it to go beyond a certain level. It really, language apps aren't going to tell you that, and a lot of people aren't going to tell you that. But it's so important. You'll waste so much time if you treat every single language app as if it's meant for your language level, no matter what your language level is, because that's just not accurate. Some apps are great for beginners, some for intermediate, some for advanced, some for all of them, some for only certain ones. It really depends. And that really goes into what language app you should be trying out. If it's not for your current skill level, or won't get you to the skill level you're looking to accomplish, it's going to be a waste of your time. The second thing that you should be thinking about when it comes to picking a language app is a specific skill level. So generally, there are 4 language skills, right? There's reading, writing, listening, and speaking. They're all different language skills. You need to practice them all independently in order to accomplish different things. If you want to just speak, if all you want to do is speak, then spending a lot of time reading books, it'll be helpful, don't get me wrong. It's really not going to be the thing that's going to get you where you want to go. If you want to speak, if that is your intention, you need to be speaking. Reading will help, sure. Listening will definitely help, sure. But it's not speaking. So if you're in that boat and you really want to speak, then using something like Link, which is literally reading and picking up vocabulary through reading, not that it won't be helpful, because all the language skills feed into each other, but it's not, there's nothing in there when it comes to speaking. You're gonna do 0 speaking using Link. So you really need to be intentional about what it is that you're practicing. Link is great, I love Link, but it doesn't do anything for speaking. On the other end of the spectrum, you have SpeechLang, which is just speaking. It's more pronunciation, a little bit of fluency in there. But if you want to read, then SpeechLang isn't going to be, your primary concern. It'll help you, again, like I said, all the language skills feed into each other and it'll help you. but it isn't what you want to be focusing your attention on if what you want to do is you want to read or you want to pick up vocabulary. Being aware of the language skills you want to sharpen and build will really change the course of which language app you should be trying out. The third category is format. Different language apps, different language resources are structured in different ways. They're beneficial to different kinds of people, what holds your interests, what, the language skill it is, all sorts of different things. So for example, you have UTalk, which is kind of like, it gives you a bunch of phrases and UTalk is really good at hitting all of the language skills, but it's very, simple. The concept is, you have a phrase, you listen to it, you repeat it, you read it, you memorize it, all these certain things. You have predetermined phrases that you're learning, right? As opposed to something like Fluent U, which is video-based, where you're getting videos and you can pick and choose the words that you want to work on. You can pick and choose the phrases that are new to you. You can pick and choose all sorts of things. It's a lot more fluid, a lot more, entertaining if that's what you're interested in. The format itself of the app is a really big deal because, if it's not something that you're interested in, if it's not engaging to you, then you're not going to keep going with it. I mean, that one's pretty simple, Every language app is built differently. They cater to different kinds of personalities. The people who decided to design and develop different apps, they were looking for something different that was already on the market. They were looking for something different, a specific format or something like that. I mean, something that's formatted like UTalk could be really boring to you. And something that's formatted like Fluent U could be, overwhelming to you. It's a personality thing. It's an interest thing. You really got to figure it out as you go. Number 4, we have the level of hand-holding. And by this, I mean the amount of structure that you find in resources. A lot of people feed off structure, a lot of people really don't. And so the kind of structure that you're looking for will dictate what kind of language app is beneficial to you. You have something like Drops, which is, you are given words and you can tell Drops which words that you want to learn, which words you don't want to learn. But, you have your categories, you go into the category and you learn the words in the category. You go to the next category, you learn the words in the category. It's pretty decently, structured, so you can pick and choose as you go, but you do also have a set vocabulary, set themes, set categories of vocabulary, as opposed to something like Anki, which has absolutely zero structure. You can, download other people's Anki decks, but Anki is very good at helping you learn the vocabulary that you choose. You find the vocabulary yourself that you want to learn, and you input it into Anki, which can be really overwhelming if you need something with a lot more structure, a lot more hand-holding. You really need a lot more support in dictating what it is that you're learning, when you're learning it, how you're learning it, that kind of thing. Number 5, we have intensity, and that is, is it something fun and quick that'll take you 5-10 minutes, or is it something that's a lot more cerebral, a lot more thinking, something that you can't really do just, passively. So for example, on the one hand, you have something like Mondly. Mondly could be cerebral, but it's also a pretty surface level little game. It's pretty simple. There isn't a whole lot of, you're not filling in the blanks or anything. It's a lot of multiple choice, a lot of keeping it fun, keeping it light, keeping it entertaining. As long as you do a little bit here and there, you're solid. As opposed to something like Quizzic, which I've been using for my French. Quizzic is very cerebral and really goes in depth into different grammatical concepts and helping you understand pronunciation and giving you complex lessons and helping you really understand the nitty-gritty features of the language. Some people are into that, some people aren't. Some people just need the, multiple choice, get this few simple phrases and be able to communicate at a base level, as long as, you figure out the fluent kind of thing. Figuring out how intense you want your study to be, how intense you have the energy for, what interests you, all those kinds of things. And finally, the last and certainly not least, important category when considering which language apps to use is what you enjoy. Finding something that you enjoy is absolutely paramount and is so important. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're not going to do it long term. That's just That's a straight up fact. For example, if the little sounds and the cute cartoons of Duolingo work for you long term, for long-term motivation, that's great. If it's interesting, keeps you excited, keeps you entertained, perfect. But for a lot of people, it doesn't work. It's not entertaining, it's not motivating, it's not exciting. They don't actually genuinely enjoy using it. So they shouldn't use it. Always, 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 always make sure that you're doing something that you enjoy. You're using language learning resources that you enjoy. Because at the end of the day, 1 through 5, the first 5 things that I talked about, yes, they're important, but if you don't enjoy what you're doing, none of it matters. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're not gonna do it, you're gonna stop, you're gonna give up, you're gonna get upset, all these things. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the process. It'll really do a lot more for your motivation, which I have a video link below in the description for how enjoying things really, really helps with your motivation. It sounds silly, but believe you me, it works. That is all I have for this video. In the comment section below, let me know, what is the most important thing to you when it comes to language learning resources? What do you look forward to? What do you look at when it comes to finding a resource that you're gonna stick to and you're gonna give a shot? Otherwise, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every Wednesday and Sunday. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.